Hello and welcome to the FotoMagico 4 webinar. My name is Bastian and I'm gonna lead you through this exciting journey through the new version of FotoMagico. And today with me is Peter Baumgartner, the lead developer of FotoMagico. And it's a pleasure to have you here because you're gonna show us amazing things. Is that right?
Sure.
Okay. So we finally reached version 4 of FotoMagico and there is a ton of new stuff. And I think without further ado, we just jump right into it. And you had the chance of using it a lot. Well, of course, you're the developer, so of course you are using it a lot. But you were traveling abroad.
This past summer, I was in Western China and I brought back quite a few images and decided to create a large slideshow. So that was a pretty big test for the new version.
That is very good, and let's jump right into it. We have the slideshow here. We will show people how to build a slideshow and what the new features are that FotoMagico 4 brings. And let's dive right in.
All right, so let's start up the application and create a new document. And when you create a new document, you get a choice of different output formats. And let's go with the full HD format right now, 16:9 aspect ratio.
That's what most of the modern TVs do, right?
Yeah, most of our computer screens are either 16:9 or 16:10 aspect ratio, and all of the modern televisions are 16:9 as well.
Yeah.
So that's the format I choose most of the time when creating slideshows.
Makes sense.
So I would suggest to everybody it's the most convenient format.
Okay, then we choose that one. And there we are.
All right, so the user interface is divided in three main areas. The area down here is called the storyboard. Right above it is the stage.
Okay.
And at the side is the sidebar. And the sidebar is composed of four different sub-areas: the images, movies and audio browsers, plus an option sidebar that we're going to use later.
So we're going to cover that in a second. And let's say we use Aperture, we use Lightroom, we use iPhoto, whatever. We do a pre-selection of images, ideally in that library.
Exactly. You import your photos into your library of choice, whether it's Aperture or Lightroom or iPhoto. You pre-select the images that you want to use because, like on a large trip, you bring back thousands of photos, and you can't reasonably present that many images to your audience.
Yeah.
You need to select the best images and the images that are suitable to tell a story. So what I prefer to do is inside of Lightroom or Aperture, I give ratings, 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars to images. And then I create smart albums. So I can say, show me just 4 stars or more.
Makes sense.
And that way I can go from thousands down to a couple of hundred images.
You can, of course, just pick the images you want inside of FotoMagico. But the thing is, an image library like the ones mentioned before, they're made for that. And so that's much easier to do the stuff inside of your image library than inside of FotoMagico, while it would still be possible. And so we made a pre-selection of images. Exactly. And so we jump into images.
We imported the images into Aperture. In this case here, 324 images.
That's quite a lot.
Well, I used to have 7,700 images, so this is just a small subset.
Yeah.
But we also picked a couple of images that we really liked and created this 5-star album. Yeah. And now we've only got 24 images. Is going to be a really short slideshow, which makes more sense in this scenario here when we're trying to show you the features.
Correct. So you see, creating a smart album in Aperture just works. We just see it and we can access it. And now we just, well, can put the images into the storyboard if you want to.
Yeah, so let's just select all of the images in the image browser.
There was Command and A if you want to press keyboard shortcuts.
And drag them to the storyboard.
And one thing we see that is brand new in FotoMagico 4.1 is that there is a tiny badge up here in the above each used image that tells us, well, this image has been used once. And that makes it much easier for you to, well, if you need to start over or if you pick up from somewhere where you left off, you know this image was already used in the slideshow. You don't have to look it up. Well, did I use that one or not? You see it at a glance.
Exactly. And that is especially helpful when you've got hundreds of images and you're dragging in one by one.
Yeah.
And then after a while, you kind of lose track which image did I already use, which ones are still unused, and those badges are really helpful in those situations.
Correct. So, and right now we have all the images in the storyboard, but maybe they're out of order, or, well, they might be ordered in chronological order, but maybe in sake of telling a good story, you want to, well, move some images to the front, some images to the back, and
exactly. That's I prefer to tell my slideshows not in chronological order, but in blocks that are thematically related.
Okay.
For example, in a trip, you every night you get to a different lodge, but you don't want to show images of different lodges scattered throughout the slideshow.
Correct.
That way you would be boring your audience in no time. So instead, I just pick a few images of the lodges and I bunch them all together in one block.
Do you notice something? We don't just tell you technical stuff. You get the magic of creating stories, telling stories right from Peter. That's pretty amazing. So let's take a quick look, and because that's where the storyboard comes in very handy. You see rather big representations of your images, and you can just rearrange them pretty quickly.
All right, so we just dragged in those 24 images, but they're still out of order. So let's just rearrange them. You click on one of those slides and thumbnail representations, drag it around, and drop it where you want it.
That's pretty easy, and you see the indication where the slide is going to go. You can select multiple images, just as Peter does here right now. And as you see, building the story is really quick here, and that's the key to a slideshow that, well, people don't fall asleep to. And take your time, think about the story you're going to tell, and rearrange everything you want to. Fine-tuning, that's the next step then. Right now, we're just gonna put the story in order, and
go here to the base camp. No, I didn't want to do
secret
that.
new feature that's coming up in just a second. Okay.
As you can see, while I'm dragging around, you can see yellow highlights in the storyboard. That's where this slide is going to end up when I drop it.
Okay. And so we're going to the end where you are in the snow.
And skiing down should be the last one.
Makes sense.
And that one should go. Okay, so now we rearranged it. How about saving it?
That makes sense.
Let's give it a...
let's save it to the desktop.
Yeah, let's not save it in the
application
folder. Nasdaq ATA 2012. That's the name of the slideshow.
Good. Save. So one quick save here.
All right, and... well, let's just take a look what it looks like right now.
Yeah, makes sense. We just had the cursor in the middle.
Okay. So let's go back to the beginning.
Makes sense, yeah.
And then play.
Okay.
As you can see, there's a little bit of animation already applied to each slide by default, and that's the default setting. But if you don't want animation, you can turn it off. Or if the default animation doesn't really look right, you can always fine-tune it and customize it. For example, in this case here, the pan across this panorama image, it looks nice, but it's too quick.
Yeah.
So we need to make it slower, and that's just it's 10 seconds long right now, this slide.
And it's a pretty huge panorama, so...
So we need more time. So we can just double-click the slide duration here, and let's say it should be 15 seconds long. And now it looks much better.
That looks much better. Actually, yeah, it does. Great. So, well, the slideshow should really start with some kind of introductory thing. So, well, for example, let's just tell people where you have been. So we create a title slide.
So let's go to the beginning. We click on blank slide. And then we click on add title. And we just type in the title. Press enter. Oh, that was return. And now we've got a title.
That's great. And we can also animate the title as we could do with images.
For example, let's leave it like that in the start position. We select the finish position and we increase the zoom value a little bit, and that way, let's just take a look at it.
It's really slow and subtle now because we're at 15 seconds.
15 seconds, okay, so that is a little bit long for such a short title, so let's just change it to 7 seconds. And a little bit more so we can see it better.
And now we see it's actually zooming in.
Now it looks better.
Yeah, makes sense like that. Okay, so now we have the opening, and now from each image to the next, there is right now by default a dissolve transition, but there is much more than just a dissolve transition, is there?
Plenty of different transitions. If you right-click on those icons in between the slide frames are the transitions.
Let's just highlight that a little bit.
And if you right-click on
wait a second, it's a one-button mouse.
Oh, okay. If you right-click, you get a pop-up menu that shows you all the different transitions you can use. The most useful ones are the traditional ones, cut, fade, and dissolve.
Yeah.
And then there are plenty of other effects that might be useful in some situations, but I suggest stick mostly to the traditional ones. The classic ones you can always use without boring your users.
There are, of course, cases where, for example, an aperture transition that shows an aperture makes sense. If you have a photo of someone taking a picture and the next photo is the picture the person was taken, then the aperture transition might make sense in that case. But the more subtle you are with the transitions, the more the focus goes onto your images and onto the story and not on flashy transitions. And so here is the suggestion we can take. Keep it down.
One more thing about transition, really about anything. If you want to change the transitions for the whole slideshow, just select all slides, go to the options panel, and then you can change the transition all in one go.
That was easy.
For all slides.
So on the options panel, it has options, that's why it's called the options panel, for almost everything. So you can change really duration, the transition, the color correction, everything that's in there. And so checking the options panel once in a while when you have something selected really makes sense to see what you actually can do with the current slide or current image that you have selected. Okay, so let's just have a short look at the very beginning where we just added that intro.
Let's go back to dissolve transition for now, I guess.
Let's just see the difference. So we do a short preview playback, and you will see the fade transition now. It fades down to black, and it comes back from black. And if you go back to the, if I may, dissolve, and play that again, you will see the difference here, that it does a cross dissolve. And here we go. Nice, subtle. That's the way it's supposed to be. Well, right now it plays. The photos are pretty cool, but well, as people say, 80% of a video is audio, and right now we don't have audio, we don't have music, and music that's what drives a slideshow, and selecting music is probably one of the hardest parts when creating a slideshow, fitting music. And so, how easy is it to put in music?
Well, you go to the audio panel, and in the audio panel you've got different libraries again. For example, iTunes, your music folder, or any other folder that you drag into the browser here. And the songs that you have in your libraries are listed here, just like your photos were shown in the images browser. And you can just drag in the song that you want.
Yeah, so
why not let you do that?
It's so easy that even I can do that. So I just take we have a 3-minute song, and we just drag it in and put it in there, and that's where I want it to be. And I release it, and there we go. And well, let's just give it a look. Give it a listen. So already we have video and audio, so slideshow and audio. Let's just stop that right here. And well, let's save for another second. I just pressed Command S. It's saved now. And
by the way, for those of you who have used FotoMagico before, you might have noticed that saving was near instantaneous now, whereas it used to take a long time for large slideshows, over a minute. That's something that is brand new in the most recent version.
Yeah. So, and that saves a lot of time. So we did the basics now, and well, let's refine for a little bit of the animation. So, for example, we have that slide of that boy down here that's looking into the camera, and maybe we want to zoom in into his face a little bit more, reverse the animation because we want to zoom in to emphasize his facial expression. And so let's just do that.
So if we right-clicking, if we right-click on the image, we get this the animation submenu, and there's a shortcut zoom in. Let's just use that for a second, and let's just take a look what that looks like. Okay, it's a very slow zoom in. Let's say we want to make it a little bit faster, so we could select the image on the right side and zoom in a little bit more. And we really want to focus on his eyes, so we move a little bit down. So
we try to get it to the center somehow, because that makes the zoom into his eyes.
So now we're zooming in directly to his eyes, and that way, even though the zoom effect wasn't really dramatically fast, the audience might not really notice it right away, but the audience is still drawn to the eyes and are really focusing on what's important in this image.
So with a zoom, with a destination, with a finish position of a zoom, you can direct where the audience is looking at.
You can direct the attention of the audience.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, so we shuffled around the individual slides, and we adjusted the zoom, and we adjusted the animation in the panorama before. Well, in FotoMagico 4, there's a new mode next to the timeline.
next to the storyboard. Yes.
Sorry, yeah, you're right. I gave it away.
You gave it away. In FotoMagico 3 you used to have the storyboard, and that's what we've been using so far. In the storyboard, each slide is represented as a small rectangular slide frame.
Yeah.
And each slide frame has the same size, regardless of how long the slide is going visible on screen.
We see the difference here. This one is 15 seconds. This one is 6 seconds, and they still have the same width. And well, it makes sense for rearranging your story.
For rearranging this, this view is really great because you can quickly drag around the images, rearrange the sequences to tell the story. But once the sequence is finished and you want to fine-tune the timing, this view doesn't really help you that much anymore, because you could edit all those durations of the slides, but you don't really see the relationship between the different durations.
It's much harder to get a feel how it works.
Exactly. And one of the most requested features was a timeline mode that people are familiar with from video editing applications. Yep. So that's what FotoMagico 4 now has.
We heard you.
So you just click from storyboard to timeline view. And now the rectangular, the square slide frames suddenly become those rectangular bars. And now we can see a difference between this slide here and that one. The second one is much wider. So
the width actually represents the duration of the slide in the entire slideshow.
Exactly. And now we've got a timescale slider down at the bottom, and we can zoom in or out, so we can see more of the slideshow, or if we zoom in, we can enhance some details.
And one of the details that we see here now is that we can even see more of the audio. We see the waveform, which is very helpful if you have distinct beats in your audio.
Exactly, because in a really polished slideshow, you really want to synchronize your transitions with the audio.
That makes sense.
And that is something that you're going to show in just a second, but let me point out one additional detail. This stair-step thingy here.
Is that a technical term? Stair-step thingy?
I guess so.
Good. Yeah, I mean, you're the man.
So you can see the transition icon here, and with this stair-step, you can, if I click on this edge here, I can change the duration of a slide. Let's do it over here as well. So you can see the number, the duration changing as I drag. And if I click on this edge, I can change the duration of the transition.
Yeah.
So that's a much more intuitive way of changing the timing of the slideshow, instead of numerically entering durations and doing a trial and error thing. No, that wasn't what I wanted.
Yeah.
You just click and drag until it looks right.
Yeah, and you see now the relation between how long is the transition going to be and how long is the actual slide going to be, and that helps you a lot in telling the story even more. And as you just said, you can simply go here and say, well, this looks like there is a beat in the audio, and you can place your transition markers wherever you want, like going here where that waveform hits goes up. But there is an even better way of doing that, and this is what I'm allowed to show you right now. That's called audio markers. It's been there in previous versions, but it's never been that easy and that great like it is right now in FotoMagico 4. And I'll just enable something magical so you can see it. I hope you can. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit play, and FotoMagico is going to preview play the slideshow. And whenever I want the next slide to come up, I press the M key, like marker, and that will set an audio marker, and FotoMagico then knows, well, whenever I reach that part or that time code in the audio, I'm going to advance to the next slide.
But before we start, let's just increase the slide durations a little bit so we can better see the effect of what you're doing.
Correct. So, yeah, let's just jump right in. I have the audio selected. That is important because I want to tell FotoMagico which audio track to put the markers in, and then I just hit my spacebar.
Alright, so that looks pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean, you need to feel the rhythm, but come on, people, that's possible.
Now you're increasing the tempo.
Yeah, but as you see, it's really easy to do that. So let's stop here. And as you just saw, we added all the audio markers.
This one just set it to marker.
Correct. This one, it took me longer to hit the beat again before the 8 seconds were passed, and so FotoMagico assumed, well, then I'm probably stick with the 8 seconds because that was what's said before. But we can change it pretty easy. We just right-click on the 8 seconds here and select continued audio marker, and everything else will magically adjust itself. And that's one of the beautiful things about that. Let's assume you put in fixed timing and you change something at the very beginning. Everything else would, well, fall apart. But with this, everything else will just jump to the next marker.
Yeah, that's the nice part about audio markers, that you can change the audio markers and the timing of the slideshow adjusts accordingly.
Correct. So if I move that marker, which I can easily do, then everything else will follow
like a rubber band.
Correct. And if I say, well, I need another marker in there, or if I need to delete a marker, which is also possible, then everything else will also adjust without having to worry about, is the timing still going to be on the beat? Because, yeah, it's going to be on the beat because that's what we defined before. And, well, let's just save here for a second. Go back. When I'm saving, I'm always pressing Command-S because that's the easiest way, and it's so fast right now. And let's play it for a second and see how it looks.
That one was still a little bit late.
Yeah, and pretty easy. I just take it and see this is actually where the beat is supposed to be. Here where that peak is. And that's where I drop it. So
you can just drag around the audio markers to fine-tune, and if you want to do that fine-tuning, this is where the timescale slider comes in handy.
And we see I also missed the first one. Yeah, I know. I'm not like the musical kid. And now we fixed that one too, and let's, excuse me, play it again. Much better. And now it's right on the beat, and I can just tinker with each audio marker by itself. If I feel that it needs adjustment. So far, these look pretty good. So right now we added all the audio markers. We could fine-tune that, well, hours if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But it's good enough for now, and because we have a little bit more to show you, and well, let's just bring that to an end.
Yeah, why don't we look at the slideshow, what it looks like?
Oh yeah, we could just
full screen.
Just full screen playback. So we go to the play full screen button here. We will come to the rest in a second, and we select play full screen, and here we go.
So now we get to see the slideshow without all the distractions of the user interface.
That's what it would be on a TV, for example, if you present it there.
Or on a digital projector.
For example, yeah.
On a big screen.
And you see how you're drawn to the eyes of the kid and the puppy, of course. Well, puppies never fail. And yeah, that's what it looks like. I hope the playback is not too jerky through the video stream, but well, let me just tell you, it looks pretty amazing here. Okay, so we could watch through the entire thing or just exit out of it, and that's how to create a slideshow from scratch. And but if you want to see what else is possible in FotoMagico, you could of course just start with a slideshow from scratch, or you can just take a peek into the demo slideshow that we're shipping with FotoMagico. And in the demo slideshow, we can show you a few pretty cool things that come for free with it, and you can just take apart. So let's close that for a second. I just save it one last time, close it down. No, last save takes a little longer, but that's okay. And now we go to File, and we select Open Demo Slideshow. And this is what the demo slideshow looks like.
And you can immediately see, whoa, something looks different than in FotoMagico 3.
Exactly.
And well, right now we're in timeline view. Let's switch over to switch back to storyboard view for a second. You can see that there are some slides look familiar, like these here. But these here look quite different. There's a whole stack of slides here. And if we mouse over, if you hover over one of those stacks, it expands and we can see there are actually 5 different slides.
So what's that feature called?
It's called layers.
Woohoo!
So now you can add up to 6 layers to a single slide, and it doesn't really matter whether a layer is an image, a title, or a video. So you can combine 6 different elements on one screen.
That makes sense. And well, let's just take a look at a few ways to use that. For example, we did a split screen here in the very first image. Well, we have one image on the right hand side, one image on the left hand side, and
a title.
And a title. That makes a huge difference, because right now, without opening a photo editing application, you can display both. In that case, the image of the bride and the groom and the groomsman, and that's pretty cool. And all we had to do is drag in a second photo. And well, yeah, you see what the visual effect of that is.
Let's take a look at it in action.
Okay, let's just play here.
And as you can see, the image of the slide of the bride was shown first, and then the other image was displayed a little bit later.
And we can just combine it with like single images, and then again put a side-by-side split screen. That works great for portrait images, for example. We'll see that at the very end. And we have one side animates, the other one doesn't. That's all possible, and it's easy to do. It's just like as easy as you have one image and you take another one. Well, that's not really fitting from the theme. Well, we are editing the demo slideshow, of course. So, and that's something you can do. You can just open the demo slideshow, find in effect something that you like, and just take it apart. And that's all it took me. It was. Let's go back to the. Which one did I just? That one. So, and that's all it took me. I just dragged in another image, and now I can. No, it's the trackpad that's hating me again, and I can just do whatever I did before, now with a second layer. And to give you another idea that's possible is, for example, let's see. I think we use title in a creative way. So you went hiking, like you do oftentimes, and you took a photo of mountains in Switzerland, I guess.
In Switzerland, yeah. Well, actually, this one isn't mine, but I took a very similar image. And often people ask, what's the name of this mountain? What's the name of that mountain?
Yeah.
And people start arguing when you're at the summit. So I think it's kind of a nice effect in your slideshow that you actually label the summits that you get to see. So why don't we run this?
Yeah, let's just hit play. Or full screen.
Let's
come on.
do it full screen.
Come on. And you see the titles coming in one after another. They fade out again, and we have one title at the very front. And like this, it's pretty easy to show, well, what the actual mountain is, and you can use that in many ways.
And in this case, the slide, it's just one image layer and 4 title layers.
Correct. And imagine the same thing for a group shot, like 4 people in a picture, and just add 4 titles for each person, and you can still pan through their heads, and the names appear at different moments. Correct. And well, another example of the side by side that we had. Let's just go to another full screen session.
Oh, here you even got 3 different split screens.
It's all possible in there.
And different animations. So you get the idea. With layers, you can achieve quite a few different effects, depending on what kind of story you want to tell.
Correct. And here we had the multiple titles. We had the picture-in-picture. We had the. I think we had them all. Well, there's a little bit more, and I'm hoping that you can see that through the recording. That's something we call 2.5 dimensions. So we take one image, extract the main object in Photoshop, for example, and then put it back as a transparent layer, as we have here with that surfer dude. And if we play that, let's just play that full screen again, you'll probably see that surfer is moving a little bit differently than the rest of the wave, and that is something, well, if you see that, you're like, what just happened there? And the same thing.
You'll notice something is strange. You don't quite understand it. It looks a little bit 3-dimensional.
The same thing here. I just took a panorama photo somewhere in the mountains, and then just separated the mountains from each other, as each has its own layer. And same thing. And
you did that probably in Photoshop, I guess.
Correct. It works in Pixelmator, Acorn, whatever you want to use. And the same thing here. I put each layer in as its own layer, and I move them at different speeds, and you get the impression of a huge camera dolly that's going through the mountains, because each layer is moving slower.
You're doing a flyby in an airplane.
Correct. And well, again, your imagination is kind of limited. Whatever you want to do with it, and whatever you can do with a graphics application. But every time you have a subject in your photograph that can be easily removed from the background, you can do stuff like that and make it look pretty amazing. So let's say you created all the amazing stuff. You created your slideshow, telling your story. Audio is there, video is there. Oh yeah, video. We didn't talk about video at all. So not a problem at all as well. So we can do picture in picture, side by side things, and of course we can combine photos and videos without a problem. Just like
video is just like text or images is just another layer.
Yeah, correct.
It's all treated the same way.
So just go to your movies folder and drag in videos as you would with photos, and just use them like a normal photo object in your slideshow. So you're done, everything is fine, you want to present that thing. One thing that we already saw is full screen playback.
Full screen playback. And if you attach a second screen, either a television screen or a projector, when you start full screen playback, you get asked which display do you want to use. Obviously, if you attach a projector to your notebook, you obviously want to present it on the big screen, on the projector. And once you've shown your slideshow to your audience live, you probably want to reuse it in other ways too.
Yeah.
So sharing is an important thing for most users. And so this is possible here with the same button that has the play full screen. Or you can select the same options up here in the share menu. And there are different things you can share your slideshow for. For example, you could create a standalone player for anybody who has a Mac. The standalone player can be sent to that person, and that person can then play back the slideshow in its original quality without any loss of quality. Or well, if the other person doesn't have a Mac, there are several different options. For example, you could put your slideshow on YouTube or Vimeo, or you could share it for one of the iDevices like an iPhone, iPod, or iPad, or you could even show it on your Apple TV. So with all those presets, FotoMagico will create a movie file that is optimized for the device you selected, and it's gonna look gorgeous there. And well, yeah, it even puts it into iTunes if you check the box. Well, and then there's another option. You could burn a DVD. You need a third-party application like Apple iDVD or Toast Titanium to do that. And the last two options, ProRes Video and QuickTime, are for producing custom QuickTime movies in high quality with whatever codec you choose. That's amazing. So probably every sharing aspect is covered here, and so I hope we were able to show you how to get into FotoMagico, how to create your slideshow, what the important parts are, and well, my suggestion would be just get the free demo version, play with it, see if it makes sense for you. Put in your photos, create your own slideshow, tell a story. You find the demo version at our software, boinx.com/FotoMagico. And thank you so much for taking the time, showing us all the secrets of slideshow telling and all the technical stuff. And I think we'll see each other again soon when we have more exciting new features to show. And we'll in the next webinar, we'll show you some advanced tips and tricks. It's gonna be great. So thank you a lot, and that's it for now, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Bye.